Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Behind the Box. I'm Robbie Biscoff. We also have Rafael Rivera.
Hola.
And Nick Townsend.
Hello!
Yes, hello! And on a serious note with that, we have to mention that we did lose Robin Williams in the last week or so, and we all kind of want to start out the show and talk about some of his iconic roles and some of the things that inspired us the most. And Nick, why don't you go first on that?
Yeah, well, definitely, I mean, that quote that I just said, the hello thing, comes from Mrs. Doubtfire. So definitely growing up, Mrs. Doubtfire and Jumanji are kind of the movies that I grew up on and saw him in as kind of the fatherly character, but also kind of the jokester. I definitely went back and saw like Good Morning Vietnam, but more of these movies. But definitely my favorite is Good Will Hunting. I think he's at his best when he's a dramatic actor. I think he's a great stand-up and great comedian, but some of his best movies are his most dramatic. I definitely think Good Will Hunting. It's the only one that he got an Oscar for. So, what about you guys?
Raphael,
Did you ever watch the, when he was an alien, his tagline was Nanu, Nanu?
Oh, you mean Mork and Mindy?
Mork and Mindy.
Oh, God, yes.
It escaped me for a
You
second.
took mine away from me because that's what I was going to talk about. Was Mork and Mindy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. I meant Mork and Mindy. That was
Well, I think the role was perfect for him because he played an alien, and at the time his stand-up was just off the wall and off the cuff and just really quick-witted, and he can be weird, and that's kind of made his role there and just expanded from there. So I instead of coming from Jumanji and all that, I came from like Good Morning Vietnam, that area, and I just loved him in that movie. And like I agree with you, his dramatic roles are really impressive as well as his stand-up and everything. But I watched more stand-up than I did his movies. But
I've always kind of watched more of his comedies than I did his. But I did see a few of his serious movies, and he was a very diverse actor. And I mean, it is a real big loss that somebody that can make you laugh that hard, but also can be so dramatic at the same time. And not many people have that quality.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, at least we can look forward to a couple more movies by the end of the year that he did, because he didn't stop working. So.
yeah, I know wasn't he doing like a voiceover for something?
I think he did a
before he passed?
voiceover, and then I think there's a Christmas theme movie.
He was always great in
else.
animated movies, like because he could ad lib, and then they could just animate to his ad lib and comedy. So that'll be good to see, definitely.
Well, and on the subject, because Mork and Mindy was what I was going to mention, because I watched Mork and Mindy when I was growing up. As I didn't watch. No, I'm not that old. I didn't watch it when it was. I'm not that old. I didn't watch it in the original run, but I did watch like the reruns and stuff when they were on TBS and Nick at Night and stuff like that. And I used to love it. But and a little trivia for you. I mean, you know where Mork started from. Do you know where Mork and Mindy came from?
I do.
Well, you probably know because I told you.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
No, it's your.
Okay,
it's your
well,
scoop.
it's Happy Days. Happy Days was what started Mork and Mindy. And it was actually Robin Williams' really good improvising skills and his stand-up skills that made him get his own show. Because basically it was a one-spot thing on Happy Days to where one of the main characters, Richie, falls asleep and has a dream about this alien that comes from Ork and wants bologna. And it is hilarious. I mean, Happy Days has cheesy humor, because that was what it was. But the episode that he was on, I can watch that now and just roll on the floor because he was just pure 100% ad-libbing a lot of that. And you can even watch the actors, Ron Howard and Tom Bosley,
Losing it,
while he's doing his stand-ups. So that was kind of where that came from, though. He started on that. And they said, this guy's great. We got to get him his own show. And the year later, Mork and Mindy started. So that was where the Mork character actually came from. And that's my biggest memories of Robin Williams was that time period. So.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely a tragic loss. So, we just thought we need to kind of put our condolences out there for Robin Williams. And he definitely will be missed.
Pay tribute by watching his old movies.
Yes, definitely. And there's a lot of them on Netflix, iTunes, wherever you can find them.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving on from that, a little bit more upbeat now. Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
Dawn of Justice.
As we scoot over to Batman.
Scoot, yes. That's a very good analogy.
More behind the box thing here. There's some set photos that are coming out, and I wanted to touch on *Halt and Catch Fire* because Scoot comes from that.
Yes.
And there's some speculation on which character he's playing. I think there's a picture online where he's just wearing like green screen socks. So they're thinking he's either going to be the Flash, or they're going to make his legs robotic, or they're cut off. Like, there's a lot of speculation going on. So I guess it just adds to the intrigue of the new movie. So
What's it? It's like Scoot McNairy or something?
Scoot McNairy.
I think
Scoot
it's Scoot
McNairy.
McNairy or
Yeah.
McNairy. Yeah. It's a very weird name to say. And
It's like Irish or Scottish or something.
yeah.
So I mean, how do you feel about it? *Halt and Catch Fire* guy, he's
I mean, I think he is
doing new things.
I think he's a great actor just from watching him on *Halt and Catch Fire*, and I think that if he gets the chance to do something like this, he's probably going to be too big to be on *Halt and Catch Fire* after
Well,
another year or two. So
maybe.
I think it's interesting because the other character, Joe, I don't know the actor's name, but the salesman guy from *Halt and Catch Fire* was just in *Guardians of the Galaxy*. He was Ronan the Accuser, like the main villain.
now I'm going to be spending like the next 10 minutes of the episode trying to figure out what the dude's name was, because now it's like totally escaped my mind. Thanks a lot for
Yeah,
that.
you're welcome.
Anyways,
But yeah, I mean that's basically it for that.
That's basically
it.
Could be the Flash or somebody named Metallo.
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 Is that like a cyborg dude or something?
Yeah,
I'm
Is he
not a
made
big,
out of like aluminum foil or something?
it's a villain.
like that Weird Al song, Aluminum Foil.
Oh yeah, foil. I can't go any further or we'll get sued for copyright infringement. So
Yeah, YouTube will block our video.
I only sang 1.5 seconds, so they can't block me for that right now. So we're pretty safe. I have to mention though, you did say *Halt and Catch Fire* real quick, and I'm going to have to mention this. I posted it on our website
every
today.
episode.
I love that show, and they just announced today that *Halt and Catch Fire* picked up for season 2, summer 2015. Woo!
Yay!
Yay.
Which means you guys really have to watch it now and get caught
Yeah.
up.
Well, that
guess
means we
so.
can binge watch the first
Two
season.
seasons.
First 2 seasons.
Oh, we're gonna wait.
So you're gonna
till-
You're gonna wait till the second one airs
Yeah,
now? Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
worth
So I think it's my turn now.
And then?
We
Speaking of
got this
binge watching,
really weird graphic of The Simpsons up here, because have you guys heard of the FXX network?
I have. It's like what, like the stuff that won't go on Fox goes on FX, and this is the stuff that won't go on FX is on
Yes.
FXX.
Yes.
So that's where I've.
And they're
heard about
having
it.
a lot of trouble getting viewership on FXX.
see
So what did they do? They went out and decided to make this big syndicated deal with The Simpsons, and they pretty much got the rights to air all 552 25 season episodes of The Simpsons. So they decided, well, we're going to air them in a marathon to premiere them. So actually, it's already running now, but it starts August 21st and goes through like September 1st. And they're going to be running like every single Simpsons episode ever made in order, non-stop, no breaks, no nothing. It's just going to be Simpsons for a couple of weeks. So.
Well, there'll be commercials.
Well, of course. And I don't know if I don't think they're going to air their uncut versions of the episodes.
Like the ones from the DVD or Blu-ray. stuff.
Yeah, well,
Like
like the
the-
original broadcast versions. Because especially the earlier seasons where they were like 25 minutes long, in today's standard, that would be like, they'd lose a ton of money in
Way too
advertising
much time,
trying to
yeah.
do that. So I think they will be the rerun version of the show. But still, if you've never seen them or want to catch up on them, even though you don't really have to, it's The Simpsons. You can pick
Yeah,
up
but
anywhere.
it's cool if you just want to put something on. Simpsons is going to be on for the next month
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. You don't got to worry about loading that pesky DVD or Blu-ray player
Nobody
up.
wants to deal with that. these days.
So yeah, and then the news after they do the whole thing with the episodes airing on FXX, they've got an app that's coming out that'll probably be like on Apple TVs and Amazon, all that stuff, and that app will have all the Simpsons episodes. So then at that point, on demand, anytime you could go watch any of them. So
Oh, that's cool.
It's part of the deal.
Just getting rid of the tangible media, and you can't even. Like I was telling Nick, I used to be proud of my DVD collection, and now it's just kind of taking up space.
Oh, I hear you, man.
You
I
just
hear
call
you.
it up on,
I collected more
whatever.
DVDs in the past than you could imagine. And now they're like, DVDs, first of all, I don't even touch my DVDs hardly anymore. Blu-rays, I have a bunch of Blu-rays and I still play them. But the DVDs are kind of like out of commission for me right now. So I know what you're saying, yes. Nick
Yeah.
has a bunch of DVDs he's trying to get rid of too, don't you?
Yeah. I was going to bring them and put them on the set here.
Well, we need some because that Impressionism book is getting kind of old. So.
I
it
like the
started
Impressionism book.
Oh man, but that's pretty much it for this block of Behind the Box. We'll be coming back to talk about,
I was
Who's singing the
the
Simpsons?
song.
Oh, okay.
Stuck
Oh,
in my
you're gonna
head
sing
now.
The Simpsons. Okay. Well, we're not gonna sing going out because you guys do not want to hear that. But
Oh, we want to hear you sing.
but okay. Well, maybe at the end of the episode you'll get to hear me sing. How about that?
All right.
Now
Okay.
I just chased away all of our viewers. So thanks,
No.
guys. Thanks. Anyways, we'll be right back with the What We're Watching segment. Welcome back to Behind the Box. We're getting right into what we're watching, and I'm going to take it first with Into the Storm. Did you guys get to the theater to see this yet?
I don't know if I will get to the theater to see this, to tell the truth.
Well, you know what? I'm actually going to save you a little trouble and tell you why you should probably wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or hit instant streaming or something. I did go see the movie this last weekend, and it could be because I just come back from a water park all day and didn't have a chance to shower or anything and was sitting there in my bathing suit. That might have been a little bit
Ooh.
uncomfortable, but it was freezing in there. But I just found that
You
the
were moist.
movie... Anyways,
Continue.
I found that the movie was just a little bit undecisive of what it was, where it was going to go. Like, I didn't know going into this was more like a handheld thing. It was supposed to be like a documentary style show where like the whole movie is supposed to be this long documentary. And the way they do it is they break it up into two different, like they have the storyline of the Storm Chasers, which is being shot by a professional film crew. So those guys have like the big cameras and the stuff, you know, but they're still doing a documentary, and they take it among themselves to anytime you see like another angled shot of the actor to make sure to show a camera behind her on the other side to know that you are in this documentary kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then they also have this kid that's a totally separate story who's making this video for his like high school senior graduation, and he's got like a little handheld. So he's got the shaky camera. So it goes back and forth between the film crew camera and the shaky cam, and then there's like these rednecks that have an iPhone camera. and for example, you know in Twister, like the dumb characters that wanted to get to the storm and didn't care about the safety and they just got sucked up in it? Well,
Yeah.
5 minutes into the movie when we met these rednecks with the iPhone, I was like, yep, they're the first ones. They're going to be done in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. So it was close. They did get sucked up eventually for their dumb antics, but
Were they shooting like this? or
yeah,
like this?
no, they had it. They were holding it like that, of
Like
course.
vertical.
Yeah, nobody
Yep.
knows how to shoot landscape on the phones. They always hold them portrait like that. I don't know why.
And then they have to show it on the Weather Channel, and it's like cropped on the side.
To crop it so badly.
It's cropped and zoomed.
I feel bad for the news stations
Stabilized.
because that's like all the video.
Can't
they
believe
get.
that.
But yeah, so they do that, and I think it's kind of cool. The special effects are good, on the contrary, because I know there was some buzz that the special effects might not have been that
Yeah,
good.
that's what I heard.
But I think the special effects were really good. It's just that it couldn't decide if it was going to be a handheld film or if it was going to be this drama, because they had a lot of overacting, I think, in some parts of it that to me didn't set right with a handheld documentary type feel. It's almost they went from being this documentary to this really bad dramatic movie. So I could never understand, like, you know, Sarah Wayne Callies and it's all your fault. It's all your fault they're dead. You know, I mean, that kind of just doesn't fit into that for me. Like,
There's no Helen Hunt, is what you're trying to say.
oh God, no.
So when we were first talking about this, because I talked about it on Future Focus.
Yes, that was your future focus.
I was saying that it was going to be hashtag Twister 2, but I think it should be hashtag not quite Twister 2.
Not quite. No, I would agree.
Wanna
Not
be Twister
quite.
too?
Yeah.
I mean, my niece went to see it with me, and we both came out and were like, no, Twister's definitely better. I mean, it still holds up. Even the effects on Twister, I think, still hold up a little better than... It's just, they went all out on this movie. And while it's great, there are some scenarios that it would take, like, the hand of God to make happen on a daily basis. You know, it's just like, up, tree falls, up, gas tanker crashes, up, here comes the power line, now there's a tornado, up, now it's a fire-nado, up, somebody's running out to it, up, they're getting sucked up. You know, it's just kind of like...
Yeah. Kind
Okay.
of like Final Destination kind of
Yes,
style.
yes,
like-
that it seemed kind of like that atmosphere a little bit.
Well, do you think if they shot it just like they did the other movie, that instead of shooting this documentary style, do you think they just made it a cinematic?
Yes, I think it would have
Would have
worked.
been better.
And I think if they would have gone completely with the documentary and not had the acting and just, you know, I mean, yes, you have acting, but not had like the very dramatic
The
storylines.
overact.
And just had the stuff happening like Cloverfield, for example, where you get to know the characters for a few minutes at the beginning, and then the whole rest of the story they're just running. And yeah, we don't get to know the characters that well, but in this kind of a movie, do we really care? we're going to see it for all the cool stuff that's going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
I mean,
kind of the setting is the character usually in this kind of a film.
Yeah.
But
yeah, definitely my take on it. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I don't think it's worth going to the theater to see right now. So wait for it to come out and then watch it at home. Special effects will just be just as good. So
yeah.
moving on from that to Raphael's pick, Nymphomaniac. And Raphael, you want to fill us in on that one?
It's like I'm just gonna give that away, pass the ball to you on that one.
Let me just say, so I was looking for a Netflix pick or what we're watching, and you're just scrolling through, and here they are, Nymphomaniac, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now, the reason why there's 2 volumes is because they had to split it up because the original version was 4 hours long.
Oh my God.
So
Nobody's gonna watch that unless it's Titanic.
Right. So it's really, really long. That's the first part of it. Second part of it, there are a good handful of actors in it. Uma Thurman, Christian Slater, Shia LaBeouf. This is kind of around Shia LaBeouf's transition stage. He's causing a lot of
Doing
uproar
kind
in
of
the
artsy stuff, right?
Yeah. He was doing some artsy stuff, and I think he pissed some people off, and he had some antics, like wearing a bag on his head, and had
Yeah, I
some
saw that.
bunch of stuff that he's going. So it was the middle of all that. So he was trying to come out with something totally shocking, and yes, it is. You see everything of Shia LaBeouf, and that's in the buff.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I can't explain that. But anyways, great actors in it. The storyline basically is all about this young woman who is an nymphomaniac, and she was found in a ditch, beaten up and bruised, and was found by this old guy, and just for some weird reason, he rescued her, and then suddenly she's telling her life story to him, and about her growing up as an nymphomaniac and all this things that she did to have sex, multiple occasions, and it's a very graphic movie. So I warn you that it's not rated on Netflix, but
Don't watch it with your kids.
don't watch it with your kids.
But I think the
and-
name should pretty much give that away. So
Well, so basically, if you want a really shocking film, watch it. But I'm giving everyone just a service that I watched it for you. You don't have to, but it's 4 hours long. There's lots of nudity, but sometimes you think, why did they do that? And sometimes you kind of understand the reason that they did. So I kind of leave it to that. So the
Nick,
choice
you're
is yours.
awfully
It's
silent
there.
over there. What do you got to say?
Well, I think it's probably one of those I went to art school, so
Very artsy movie.
Yeah, we definitely watched some stuff that was just like, what is this weird thing? And I mean, a bunch of other students were into kind of weird stuff. Not necessarily this in general, sex or nudity or whatever, but I could see it being one of those movies, like an actor, oh, look at this movie that I did. And it was out there, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it definitely was out there, and it is technically a foreign film. Lars von Trier is the director, and he's also known for these shocking, erotic-y movies, and But I looked at the reviews just out of curiosity, and they have both sides. They really loved it, or they really, really hated it. And
so
I
it's
think
definitely a love or hate movie, yeah.
pretty much. But if you open your mind to the art of it, the way it's put together, the different stories intertwining, and you might get it, or you might just hate it. So
What
Well-
you're definitely going to get is Captain America.
hey,
Yeah.
I like
So-
America.
Yeah, so this is actually not out on DVD or release or anything, but it's digital release. So you can get it, the Blu-ray doesn't come out till September 9th, but it's available now. You just buy it, which is
Huh.
the great thing about digital media. They don't have to wait for the Blu-ray to get pressed or whatever. They can just...
I don't have to go to the store and reserve my copy.
Exactly, yeah. You just watch it now.
It's awesome.
So, I gotta say something about this picture. I don't know.
Please, let's
I
clarify.
don't know
Alright.
if you can see. So this seems kind of like a fan-made image. Granted, I kind of gave this to Robbie at the last minute, and he hasn't seen the movie, so he didn't realize it. But these two characters on the right-hand side, the Falcon is in the movie, but he doesn't look like a luchador wrestler like he does in that. And the guy with the skull just straight up is not in the movie. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, it probably would have helped me seeing the movie to be able to get the right graphic for it.
I think you'll be right though. It looks nice.
But you should see it. But you don't get into like comic book stuff, right?
Not really to that extent. No.
So, but the good thing about this movie is it's just a great like spy action movie. It's more based on the reality, and it's him and SHIELD, which is like their big conglomerate war machine, like defense. Basically, the Defense Department, after all the stuff that happened in the Avengers, they just gave all this power to SHIELD, and they basically became this big company and this big organization trying to basically a lot of similarities to some issues that people have with their own government as far as watching us and keeping an eye on us and trying to prevent a crime before it actually happens. Punish somebody before they do the crime, kind of a Minority Report kind of a thing. And that's really against how Captain America believes, and it's him and Black Widow, which is Scarlett Johansson, and then Nick Fury, which is Samuel L. Jackson. So it's kind of the three of them, going up against some evil with SHIELD involved, and I don't want to give anything away, but it's definitely a good, just straight up action movie, but also kind of a spy thriller kind of a thing. So it's not, you don't have to necessarily be.
So I might enjoy it even though I don't like comic book characters that much?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if you do like comic book characters, you'll really enjoy it because the Winter Soldier is this story. Oh, do you know anything about it? I know you probably don't, but so it's a story. It basically comes from Captain America's best friend.
No, I don't
supposedly dies like during World War II before Captain America's frozen and then reawoken. But they actually found him and they kind of transformed him into this villain. So he's fighting his best friend, and he's gotten all these like cryogenic. But in the comic books, he actually takes over as being Captain America. So Chris Evans, who's playing Captain America now, has already said that he doesn't want to do too many more movies. So I think this is also kind of leaving that open to be like, hey, this guy might be the next Captain America. And Sebastian Stan is the actor that plays him. I think he did a great job. So I'd be happy to see if that's where they want to go with it.
I might check it out if you check out *Halt and Catch Fire*.
No?
I
don't know if it's worth it to me for you to watch this that I have to go watch.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually met Captain America.
Did you?
The real one?
The real one.
The real one.
He was in Myrtle Beach. The official.
That was just me.
The official from Marvel.
That's convenient.
He came here for a big festival, and I had to do some interviews with him, but he's a nice guy.
The guy they hired. Fest or something?
No, it was a kid fest.
Did you guys eat out?
No, we didn't eat out.
Take you out on dinner or anything?
No. Just a quick interview
I feel like
before
he'd be a big TGI
his job.
Fridays guy.
He's a really nice guy, actually. He travels all over the world.
I saw your pictures with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't think I've ever. No, I didn't see those.
It's on the Facebooks.
It's on the Facebooks.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the
I'll
interwebs.
have to go check those out then.
Next time you're on our Facebook page, facebook.com/BehindTheBoxTV.
Yes.
Go over to Raphael's page and
Plug.
you'll see that nice shot of him and Captain America.
Yeah, to do it.
But yeah,
But,
that's it.
and if you don't have a date, you can always stay at home and watch some Netflix movies and TV shows, and we have those coming up next in Netflix Picks. Welcome back. It's time for Netflix Picks, and I believe you've got one, Nick.
Hey,
Raphael.
Nick.
you don't even know my name anymore. That's okay. I'll forgive you this time. It's called The Ice Pirates, and well, it's came out in 1984. And
Obviously.
it is just as cheesy as the picture you see here. You see the ice tray.
Oh my God! It's a comedy, though, right?
It is a space comedy.
Okay.
Filled with stupid robots and a crazy plot.
Stupid robots. Now, what's the difference?
Well, they're just bumbling kind of robots.
Can you do an impression of the stupid robots?
No, they're just
Boop, boop.
they try to do the whole little robot moves. They're like, but it's clearly some dude in a suit, and it's just
okay.
it's
This is like
really
another
cheesy.
really cheaper Spaceballs, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but of course it came before Spaceballs, but the effects are kind of cheesy. The story is okay, but I just think it's just a funny cult movie comedy that most of the kids of the '80s have seen, or most of the cool kids have seen that one. So basically, it's a post-apocalyptic universe where the water is very limited, and the rich have the most ice. So the current money is water, and I mean you can buy anything with water in this movie.
So rich people have the most ice? That's kind of how
Right.
it is now.
So the pirates. So basically, yeah. So basically, the pirates go and attack the royals, the people who have the richest people in the universe. They steal all their ice, and they're ice pirates. So they're stealing ice.
Oh, okay.
Arr,
Or,
I think it's just great. You
that
got
the
everything
dude-
from like spaceships.
Is there anybody
to,
in this that we
is that
recognize?
the dude that does the voices from Police Academy? That guy?
No,
Does the
it's
sound
not.
effects?
It's not. I think. See, now the name escapes me. The guy who. Oh man.
He's having a
is
nervous
bad.
breakdown over here.
I had a nervous breakdown. Like I totally forgot. I forgot one of the guys that was in it. Who was in? He was Hellboy. Come on, help me out.
I never saw Hellboy.
Ron Perlman?
Ron Perlman is in this movie. Yes.
Oh, that's the dude that's in Sons of Anarchy now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually read that the movie almost ruined his career, as it did the rest of the people in the movie.
Oh, I can imagine.
So he's the one guy that made it out.
Yeah, I mean he lost a hand in it. He's a cool looking character. But definitely it's nice seeing him in there, and him succeeding after that was really cool. And
So watching it just for the pure nostalgia, I guess,
Yeah.
is just for the hilarity.
if you're in the mood for a cheesy '80s science fiction movie, start with
Watch pretty much
Dice
any
Pirates.
science fiction movie from the 80s. Well, no, I take that back. Back to the Future was sci-fi, and gotta love
Sure.
Back to the
And
Future.
that was completely serious.
Yes.
That was true, by the way.
You're my
it really
density.
happened?
Very true. But you might think that Ice Pirates is the cheesiest movie in the '80s. There's a movie called a coworker actually brought this up after I talked to him about Ice Pirates. It's called Theodore Rex.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, that was real bad. Yeah. But we're not talking about that.
No.
No, well, it's basically Whoopi Goldberg is a policeman who's paired up with a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh my God.
So awful.
If that was
Glad I
on
missed
Netflix,
out on that one.
If that was on Netflix, that would have been my pick. But since it's not, I went with the way.
You went with The Way, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of a polar opposite of the movie you picked.
Yeah.
It's a very serious movie, but
Sheen.
very good. Yeah. So it was directed by Emilio Estevez.
So he's directing his dad then.
Yeah, and actually he's in it as well. So it's a story of father and son. It's actually a story about the father's journey, but it starts out with the father and son. They're very different. He's kind of a wealthy businessman and very detached from his son, who he thinks is kind of flaky. He just kind of goes off on these adventures and hikes and doesn't ever have any money, kind of a thing. And the last time that he talks to him, he's going on the Way, which is this trail through Spain and some parts of Europe. And it's like this fabled path that a lot of people hike, and it's supposed to be a real spiritual journey. His son ends up dying on the way, and so he goes and picks up his son's ashes, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm gonna finish it." So he goes on the journey with his son's ashes because he wants to take him to the finish line. It's just about his journey and like his relationship with his son evolving throughout it, and there's a couple other characters that come in that he meets along the trail and how they develop and become friends, and it's just a really good movie. I kind of found it just searching through one day and showed it to a couple people, and it's very good.
Is it inspirational or sad? Is it which does
It's
it go?
inspirational, I think. I mean, the quote right there is a soulful and cinema. I can't read, so that's why I watch movies.
Cinematic journey.
Yeah, cinematic. Thank you, Raphael.
Yeah, it's great.
With
Well,
that,
I'm surprised it came from you, man. Makes my heart just beat.
Well, I can't
We're
always pick.
switching over to something like this.
Yeah, I can't always pick
great.
just zany sci-fi or Captain America movies.
Sometimes in the mood for what, some
Yeah,
crazy movie.
but this one's definitely like a small kind of indie movie that you probably haven't seen that is really good. And I mean, Martin Sheen's great, so you can't go wrong with him.
Well, I think this is one that I think almost everybody has at least seen one episode of at some time. Oh, come on, Nick. Not even one?
Not an entire
Not even
episode.
one episode of the
I
X-Files.
may have seen maybe 2 episodes.
No way, really?
Yeah.
It's one of the
Uh,
biggest shows of the 90s.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. But it was never. I never got into it. It was just kind of like a. It was kind of like a Monster of the Week thing, right?
No, well, it was mixed. It was
Okay.
mixed, yeah. They
But it
developed
was-
a really big
Like
mythology.
I never got into like the mystery. It was kind of like detectives going after like supernatural stuff, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it sort of. It's not. They were FBI agents, and it was Mulder and Scully, David Duchovny, Gillian Anderson, and when the show first started, and I will say, I didn't start from the very beginning when it was airing. I got into it around the time that the movie was about to come out in theaters, which was like '98. So I got into it in like 5th or 6th year when it was on air, and I kind of didn't understand the backstory to a lot of stuff. So I was kind of like, because there are standalone episodes where you can just watch it and be satisfied, but then there are a lot of story arc episodes that have to do with the overall arc of the show, and with that I was kind of confused. So it was actually at the same time, like it was around 2000 that the X-Files was actually one of the very first TV shows to be released on DVD in a season set. So they released season 1 in 2000, and I picked that up for a hefty. It was like $200 back then
God.
for that. Yeah, for a season set of a DVD. But I kind of watched it from the beginning, and once I started doing that, I totally fell in love with it. Like, it just changed my whole outlook on the show. So maybe that's why, some people have a hard time getting into it. But it's 2 FBI agents. One of them, Gillian Anderson, is not a believer in any kind of extraordinary phenomena. She's very scientific, down to earth, like everything has to be explained through science kind of a thing. And she won't believe in anything else but that. Mulder is the crazy one who believes in ghosts and UFOs and aliens, and his sister was supposedly abducted by aliens when he was little, and he witnessed it, so it changed his whole outlook on life. So he spent all these years trying to dig these uninvestigated, shelved files that the FBI has just kind of thrown in the corner because they were about UFOs or some weird stuff, and they're called the X-Files. So they open up this division, and Scully is paired with him to kind of counteract his craziness so that they can actually solve a case together.
That's cool. I mean, that's definitely what I've heard about it, is that their relationship is really good and they're playing off each other.
Well, and the chemistry between the 2 actors, I mean, it was just phenomenal in the show itself. And the first season, I can tell, the first season of the show alone was groundbreaking. Just in every single episode had such a good storyline to it that it didn't matter if the thing had an arc or not. You just loved the single episodes as a movie. Each one could be like a mini movie.
They're 30-minute long episodes?
Hour long. It was hour-long episodes. But they actually, in the second season, Gillian Anderson, the actress, got pregnant, and they had to get her off the show for a little while, and that sort of invented the mythology because she was sort of supposedly abducted by aliens. And then you didn't really know if it was aliens or the government or whatever, but it took them years, and every season, almost like Lost, they would kind of peel back another layer and show you a deeper side of the mythology of the show until you got to the last couple seasons when the mythology just kind of went everywhere. And,
Yeah, it kind of happens.
But definitely, I mean, it's an awesome show, and I would say, I could give you one single episode to go online and watch and say, watch this one, and you would just love, just from that perspective, like it was a sci-fi movie. It's not really, you don't have to follow it completely. You will get payment for watching the mythology episodes if you do, but if not...
Really?
Huh?
Payment?
No, well, I mean, payment from, you'll get something out of it from watching the
I see.
mythological episodes, but you don't have to. You don't have to invest in everything. You can just watch a couple episodes. And
How
enjoy
many seasons are there on Netflix?
all 9 are on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
It ran a long time.
Can binge watch the crap out of that
Yes, yes. And a lot of people think that when David Duchovny left the show, that it wasn't as good anymore, and I think it actually went the opposite direction. Because at that point, I think they were getting kind of hindered on what they were going to write, So when he left, it gave them this great opportunity to make this arc with his character, but also bring in a new character. And it was great to kind of see them go back through this first season thing where Scully's paired off with somebody new, and this time she's the believer. So it's kind of, it goes full circle as you get to it. But definitely a great show. If you're bored one night, whatever, if you're not going to watch *Halt and Catch Fire*, check out The X-Files, all 9 seasons on Netflix. You will absolutely love the show, even just one episode. I promise you that. And don't leave us yet, because we got one more segment coming up. Future Focus next.
Space herpes.
Welcome back. It's time for our final segment, Future Focus, and I believe Raphael is focusing on Ant-Man first.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
You know, I like superhero movies.
Really? I never knew that.
You didn't know that? Well, this one actually has been going through...
Well, it's true.
It's true. Did you know?
Anyways,
so if you haven't heard, Marvel's coming out with this movie called Ant-Man, and it's kind of been going through some production issues, just for decisions on actors and all that stuff. But
yeah,
most
they
recently,
lost the director and
Right.
they lost the writer,
right,
I think.
lots of changes. But I think what made things better now is that they're adding Paul Rudd
Oh, wow.
alongside Kurt.
Who is Paul Rudd playing?
Paul Rudd's playing Ant-Man.
Really?
Yeah,
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Is this a comedy?
No, now
Oh, my God.
that's what you first think, right? Paul Rudd, like why is
Yeah, yeah.
he's a comedian, you've seen all his stuff. He's pretty witty, he's pretty funny, but seeing him in a role like this, as a superhero where he's got just serious, it's not like campy or anything. He's playing a real serious superhero. So
But I mean, in our first segment when we were talking about Robin Williams, I mentioned some of his best stuff
Same
is his
thing.
dramatic stuff. So I mean, I like to see comedic actors try drama. I mean, even if it's an action superhero movie.
Well, I didn't have
there's
anything
definitely gonna
against it. It was just kind of shocking.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I just haven't known Paul Rudd to do anything else yet. So
Right,
this is
right.
probably his time to break out and shine. So
I think so, because he's taking on the role. He didn't just take it, but he's really bought into the character. He's excited to be part of the film, and I really hope we can see his excitement in the movie itself. So when he's acting, when he's playing the role, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, because that energy, of the excitement of being that role, just will come through, and I'm excited.
And I know
about
they
this
cast a former Lost cast member along in that movie too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Evangeline Lilly.
Interesting.
She was the hottie in Lost.
The hot hottie.
She was the black-haired hottie in Lost.
Oh, the
Oh,
black-haired
nice. Yeah,
hottie,
yeah,
not the
yeah.
blonde-haired hottie.
Not the blonde-haired hottie. There were a lot of hotties in Lost,
I
but
like the black-haired hottie.
yes, she's going to be an Ant-Man too.
So Ant-Man might not be a superhero that people are familiar with,
No, not too much, but comic books,
but he is actually one of the Avengers. So I think that this could be a lead-in to the next Avengers movie, that he might be in that.
I don't know if I heard anything about a
Or if not
Character-
Avengers 2, Avengers 3, probably.
probably.
Just because, I mean, I don't think Ant-Man is really a franchise that they're going to do on its own. I mean, they'll do the 2 movies, kind of like they did Thor and Captain America, just kind of as a lead-in. But I do think that he's going to be in an Avengers movie eventually, because that's the only reason that they would bring Ant-Man out, because nobody's a huge Ant-Man fan. I mean, I'm excited for the movie. I think it'll be cool, but, it's not like Superman versus Batman or something.
No, I mean, we've seen surges of superhero movies, and I think DC's coming out with a few other ones as well, which we just talked about. But they're both throwing them all out there, and I think it's great, and I hope it doesn't lose steam.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Superhero
lot of stories for them to pull from. That's the great thing, is
Oh, yeah.
that there's all these great stories in these graphic novels, aka comic books.
Don't call them comic books.
that they can pull from. And I mean, not all the stories are great. There's some horrible stories, but there's enough of them that these characters have been around for so many years. Some of them for 50 years. They've been written by different artists and different writers in these comic books. So it's cool that they can pull the best stories out of each of these characters to put them in these movies.
And this is just now shooting, right? This is
Yeah,
like
it's in production.
2015 is the tentative so far. They don't know like exactly when, right? It's 2015. So
They're going to get to it when they get to it.
exactly. Well, I think one that's coming out a little sooner than that is Fury. And Nick, you want to talk about that?
I
Yeah.
like this one.
So this looks cool. It's another World War II movie, but we haven't had one in a while. Kind of, and the way that this one's different is it focuses on a tank crew. So we really haven't seen that. We've done the Saving Private Ryan thing that everyone's seen, but you might not have. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
I have.
not. I hate to admit that too, because it's a huge movie.
I know.
That's a
So Saving Private Ryan, you know, we're seeing that from the Normandy invasion. The Band of Brothers did the Allied assault, or not the Allied assault, but the airborne. So this is kind of focusing on a tank crew, and it seems like they're an American crew. But it's got Brad Pitt in it, a few other actors. The guy that is like the deputy sheriff from Walking Dead, that Rick kills or whatever. He's in it.
Oh, okay, Shane.
Shane,
I don't
yeah,
remember the
I don't
actor's
know.
I don't really
name.
like him.
I'm not a huge fan of him either.
I
but
don't think anybody did, anyways.
I'd like to see what he does in this movie. And Shia LaBeouf's in it. And,
Shia, actually, except this movie, he'll be
probably
wearing
have clothes on.
all his clothes.
Hopefully.
But I'm excited to see what they do with it. One thing, Tom Sizemore, I haven't seen him anywhere, and if it's a war movie, I kind of want Tom Sizemore in it. You know who Tom Sizemore is? He's the guy who's Tom Hanks' like right-hand man in Saving Private Ryan. He's also in Black Hawk Down.
Actually, that was one that I did see.
So he's
I
the
did
guy
see
in
that
Black
one.
Hawk Down that like runs the convoy, the truck convoy.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like he just kind of
Yeah.
fits in those movies. So he's got to be in this somewhere. But it looks interesting. I don't know if it'll be the greatest of all movies, but I'll definitely go see it. I mean, it's definitely
And that's in October,
cool.
right?
yeah, in October.
Awesome. Well, I'll put up this next picture here.
Oh god.
And let us all gaze at this picture now. Wait a second now. These aren't the originals. Who are these guys? Well, I mean,
So
everybody,
maybe for some of our younger viewers,
They're close.
or older viewers, this close to the cast of Saved by the Bell.
yes.
Probably one of the greatest shows ever to be on television. Can we all agree on that? or-
I wouldn't agree on that. I would say it was probably one of the best teen shows or campy early morning shows to air for kids. I mean,
Okay, we can agree to disagree.
yeah, well, for people, you know, that grew up with it, you know, it is cheesy, it is corny, but it is Saved by the Bell, and you can't. Everybody in high school, or not high school, but when you're in like elementary school and middle school, watch that show at some point.
Yeah.
And if you didn't catch it in its original run, you watched all the frickin' reruns on TBS.
Yeah, they
you
would
know.
always be on in the morning.
Yeah,
so-
well, they were always the morning, afternoon, evening. You could turn any time, and there'd be some Saved by the Bell on at some point, you know. But Lifetime is making a movie called The Unauthorized Story of Saved by the Bell. Notice unauthorized. So obviously nobody's going to be happy with the making of this
All I want
movie.
to say is I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
That's perfect. I think that's about my sentiment too. And it being on Lifetime scares me a little bit.
Right.
Because it might go a little bit too much toward the feminine drama, but
Yeah.
You know,
or
I
the
mean-
overly melodrama is.
Isn't this where Dustin Diamond wrote this thing? Is
well,
he the one who?
I'm wondering. I don't know if he did do a tell-all book, and I don't know if they're gonna like taking the stuff from his tell-all book for this or not. And I don't know if he was involved in it. I don't think anybody does. Hence the unauthorized story of Saved by the Bell. But I've seen the trailer for it, and I mean, they're really like making it look like these guys wanted to kill each other from like day one. So it's like, because like the very first scene, like they're all pissed off each other because one's sweating on the other one, and they're doing a photo shoot, and they're like pushing each other around and stuff.
He just gets on the ground and starts doing push-ups. AC Slater does. He's like, oh man, let me just do some push-ups.
I
real
went to
quick."
high school with a guy that idolized AC Slater.
Did he always sit in his chair backwards and stuff?
No, I mean, he just didn't try that much to, but I mean, he just idolized. He always, I want AC Slater, like he changed his name, and I mean, it was,
Was he
my
a
God.
wrestler and a football player?
no, he was neither. He was in Man.
It seems like this guy did not do a very good job of being AC Slater. He just liked him. He didn't-
Unless he wore stonewashed jeans up to his.
Which was the style back then, actually.
Yeah,
so,
I had a pair. I had a pair.
Also, mom jeans were in back then. Definitely a good thing.
But I think just for the hilarity to see like what they come up with out of this mixture, I mean, this is, I'm just going to watch it. Even if I just laugh at it the whole time, I think I'm going to watch it just to see the drama that was behind this cast of Saved by the Bell.
Well, I mean, when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be a documentary. Like, I thought, I don't know how I thought this, but thought somehow they had some footage behind the scenes and stuff like that, and interviews, because, you know, a lot of these people are still around. I mean, Mark Paul Gosselaar is definitely still,
Oh, yeah, he's pretty big
Acting.
now still, too. Yeah.
So I would like to see that movie. I think I
But
would
if you
like to see
notice,
that
there
more.
is no documentary, and I think the reason why is it's always been known that at least a few of them are on the outs and will probably never, in at least in the next 10 years or so, get back together to tell their stories, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess this is as close you're going to get to, like, whatever drama happened, if it did, if it didn't. That's September 1st on Lifetime, the unauthorized story of Saved by the Bell. So I'll definitely DVR it and play it back and see. Will you guys check it out? Raphael, will you check it
I
out?
probably will, because I watched it a lot growing up, and I followed them right through high school all the way into college.
Did you watch the college years?
I did.
spin-off? I did too. I watched the
yeah.
college years.
How they just suddenly appeared. Well, I think it was a summer they're working at a hotel or something like that.
Well, that
They all
was
had
during
different
the
jobs.
actual
Oh, yeah,
series.
yeah.
That was during the original the high school series. But then they did like a spin-off on NBC.
Mr. Carosi is who they work for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And
Oh,
they did do
man.
a college year spin-off.
They also did a couple like TV movies like The Marriage and
and the
Las
marriage was
Vegas.
actually a continuation of the college years.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
what
yeah.
happens is the episodes led up to the movie, and then they did like the movie to end the
college.
whole thing. So, but it didn't. The show got canceled because the primetime audience wasn't there. That was there for it in the morning. It just was not there. They even brought what's her name, Tiffany Amber back like midway through the college years to boost it up a little bit, and
Because it was only a couple of
it
them.
was
right?
only the men.
Yeah,
It was only the
yeah,
men, and then there were none of the women from the high school went into the college years. And then all of a sudden, Tiffany Amber
She was,
appeared.
like,
Then all of a sudden,
moves into
Lisa was on
town.
there a little bit. So it was like they were trying, but they just could never get back to
Like,
that
wait,
magic.
these people aren't working. Let's get them on our show.
yeah, exactly.
I think
So
they all did something, following Saved by the Bell, that I find impressive.
Slater hosted ET for a while, didn't he?
Yeah,
Or
there's Slater.
Was it The Insider or the ET or one of those shows?
Mario Lopez, I think is his real
Well, I
name.
know that, but I'm
Mario Lopez.
I thought he
Man.
did like some kind of dog show thing or something.
No,
Like
he might have
Talented
hosted
Dogs
something
or
like that.
He did a lot of hosting.
he did
stuff,
tons of
though.
hosting.
Yeah, he
'cause
did a
just
lot
has
of
that good
hosting.
presence.
And Screech did a lot of really weird things.
I think he was
He
in
did
that
some porn.
Nymphomaniac movie that he was watching.
Oh God.
He did some adult films. And then there was, she did Showgirl. What was it called? Showgirls?
Showgirls.
She was great in that.
Elizabeth Berkley, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job on the names.
Yes, finally I pulled one out of my hat.
Hat. Okay, I see where we're going.
You thought I was going somewhere else with that,
I
did
did,
you?
I did.
Hat.
But I think it's about time for us to go somewhere else with this. Nick, you want to talk about social media and where people can see us and like us?
Yeah, so everything is Behind the Box TV. So on Twitter, we're at Behind the Box TV. Facebook, Behind the Box TV. YouTube, Behind the Box TV. Behind the Box TV at gmail.com. Write us an email. We might read it on air if it's appropriate. If not, we'll read it off air and then talk about it on air. So yeah, just follow us, like us, tweet at us, comment on us, email us. Yeah, all that.
And, just to clarify about space herpes,
Oh God.
it's in the Ice Pirates, so if you see it, you'll know why I said space herpes. But
In the
check us
last
out online on Facebook.
So
and
now
like-
you're forcing me to keep that in the show now. Thanks, Raphael.
Space
Also,
herpes!
thanks to Jay Burgess.
Jay Burgess,
the
Yes,
Production
thank
Warehouse.
you, Jay.
If
Thank
you're in the
you.
Myrtle Beach area and you need a space, or if you need studio space, or if you need equipment, definitely give Jay Burgess and the Production Warehouse a look. They help us out. Also, Lucky Dog Productions, Donald Smith.
Donald Smith.
All the gear, any kind of live shoots that you need done, he can do that for you. Also, commercials and many other things.
Yes. We work with a wide variety of people here. And we
Yes,
like
indeed.
thank them all because if not for them, Behind the Box would not happen. So
We have no box.
that's going to do it for this edition of Behind the Box. Until next time, see you later.